Most people think that we don't follow our dreams because we're afraid of what people are going to think of us. We're afraid that we're going to say the wrong thing, look stupid, fall on our faces, and people will judge us. And I'm here to actually challenge that thought. I just gave a facilitation with my beloved Jason. We teach something called Mindfulness 1.0 in corporations in Los Angeles and beyond. In an event like this, working with corporate people, what I discovered is that it's not our fear of how others will perceive us that actually leads us to freeze in our tracks and not be more visible in the world, not follow our dreams. It's actually, you ready? I just discovered it in myself. It's our own betrayal of self that we're afraid of. It's our own critical minds that we're actually afraid of. Because here's the thing, if you go out there and share yourself in the world and do that thing that you know you're here to do, whether it's to sing or to dance or to speak or to create art and have an exhibition of it, or to have your own talk show or podcast or create videos, I'm a big advocate of that, and you haven't yet, as we're learning in Mindful YouTube University right now, it just shows up again and again that really it's the voice in the mind that tends to freeze us in our tracks. And although it may seem like what we're afraid of is failing out there in the world or not being loved or approved of, what I just realized in myself is that what we are most afraid of is our own rejection. Because the truth is, nobody else's rejection of you can hurt you. No one else's rejection of you can even touch you. But if you believe them, if you base your self-worth on somebody else's opinion of you, and you start to play out this thought pattern that really debilitates you and paralyzes you from moving forward, that's what hurts, right? Because haven't you had that experience where somebody judges you harshly and it just like rolls off, right? Because you know that's not who you are. You know that it's their judgment, and basically when someone's judging you, they're just revealing something about themselves. That's a judgmental person. It doesn't actually mean anything about you. You may want to play that part again. I hope you really took that in, because that one took me a while to grasp, and when I got it, I was like, oh my God, somebody else's judgments have nothing to do with you, and they're actually none of your business, because they don't say anything about you. Another person's judgments actually define them, not you. It simply articulates, oh, that person is in a state of judgment or criticism. It says more about them than anyone. What I discovered and what I find is really important is that it's essential to find a way to catch when your own mind turns against you. And rather than, and it's so ironic because this is what mindfulness is, right? It's about being in the witness rather than being consumed by your own thoughts, rather than being swept away by and believing and buying into the story that you're telling yourself, right? So it's ironic because when we were just teaching this course, this workshop, I noticed thoughts kick in within myself, facilitating this, and I could feel the pain. Fortunately, they come and they go now for the most part. There's some that are still sticking points, but it's essential to catch and notice, become aware of those thoughts, and let them go. Practice mindfulness, gain some altitude in your life, and recognize there is nothing outside that can actually hurt you. The only thing that can really hurt you is the story you tell yourself about yourself, the story you tell yourself about life. It's so important that every single one of us comes into that friendship with ourselves and become, my teacher Leonard Jacobson, he speaks of himself like a hawk. He's like, I'm a hawk and I'm on to all of you. I'm seeing when you're present or you're not. And we have to be that for ourselves. We have to be awake enough to notice when our minds are drifting into some ridiculous idea. And there might be evidence, very clear evidence. No, but that thought is true. I am not good at this or not good at that, or I should have done this better, that better. Sure, maybe. although it's totally dependent on the lens that that's being looked through. Everyone has a different perspective. It's why some people love New York City and others hate it. It's the same city. It's just preference. So with this video, I simply invite you to tap into this idea, this truth, that it's actually not what the world will say about you that you may be afraid of, that has held you back in the past or in the present in regards to being the full, authentic you. It's what you do with that information in your own mind, or what you do with those assumptions in your own head. And the beauty is you have the power to catch what's going on in your mind, see it, and let it drift like a cloud rather than buying into and feeding the story. A really simple way to do that is anytime you feel negative emotion, fear, anxiety, it's usually because there is a thought, for the most part, there's usually a thought that's running that is not true. And it hurts because it's not helpful, it's not true, it's not kind. So once you notice that thought, you simply identify the thought. Who am I to be doing this? I'm worthless. You know, whatever the thought is, take a breath, see it for what it is, and simply let it go. Let it go. Now, that's easier said than done, so what I suggest is simply practice with the really easy things. You're driving in the car, someone honks at you and like flicks you off or whatever. When they drive off, rather than, that person, rah, 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 right? The moment's gone. They flicked you off, they're gone. And you're still carrying it in your head long after they've gone. Instead of that, that's the perfect opportunity to let it go. Those are easy things to let go of. The more we do that with the little things, those little irritations, those little slips in consciousness, the easier it becomes with the bigger things. Remember, you are powerful, you are infinite, and the more and more that you self-care, you nurture yourself, you care for yourself, and you honor your heart and what you're truly here to be, the easier it is to shine as an example in this world and make our world a better place. Just smiled at a stranger. We were driving past each other in traffic, and I literally saw him go from like to joy, you know? And that's how much power we have in an instant. We send a smile someone's way, and it has the power to radically affect their day. I experience that all the time when someone's kind to me. But it takes being kind to yourself first, you know? It's so much easier. So know that you matter, you're powerful, and I will see you in the next video.